Good afternoon, Congressman. My name is Luther Peters. I'm from the Tulsa area, and I was previously at your meeting up in Muskogee, but didn't get my question asked.
Okay, glad you're here.
Quick question, then I got to follow up. When does the Congress go back in session?
We go back in, it's the first week of September, it's like the 9th. It's after Labor Day, it's right after Labor Day.
Okay. Well, you said at the Muskogee meeting that there was going to be a vote on the health care bill like the 15th of September.
Probably at the end of September now, just from the press reports that I've seen.
Well, what I was going to say, the 15th is way too quick. Because if you just get back there and you're there a week or so, you don't have time to get response from the people back home of what they want or what they see is wrong. And to tell you the truth, we're pretty tired of getting legislation crammed down our throats.
Me too.
I grew up in Kansas during Bob Dole's time there as senator, and he'd come home and tell the folks what they wanted to hear many times. Then he'd go back to Washington and vote a different way anytime. And in fact, I caught him one time on C-SPAN. He was on the floor talking about this bill, and I thought, well, this doesn't sound like his stance. So I immediately called his office in Washington, and they was telling me that he was voting the other way. And so we had an interesting conversation then. But anyway, I understand that you voted for the TARP bill.
Correct.
Did you vote for the AIG bailout?
That was the TARP legislation.
Okay. Did you vote for the auto bailout?
Correct. And the stimulus, we can get all of it out. Sure I did.
You voted for the stimulus package also?
I vote for the stimulus.
I think probably if you took a poll here that you would find that most people here would not vote that way.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right, and let me answer your question about all these bills. And I go back to what happened in the fall. And let me tell you, this vote on the TARP bill, the bailout that everybody's talking about, came 2 weeks before an election. The easiest thing for me to do would be vote no. It would be. The easiest vote for a lot of members of Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, voted for the TARP legislation. But sometimes I have to take the long view. And we could, stimulus, talking a lot about, I think debt is what most people are very concerned about, how much debt we're accruing as a country. We can balance the budget this year, and we can have 30% unemployment. And we were facing something worse than the Great Depression. I can assure you.
No, sir.
I promise you this. It's 9.4%. It's bad. We had a choice between the Depression and a bad recession. And I chose the bad recession. You want to follow up? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You contend that we would be back to a 1929 situation. I contend that we're going to be there anyway, because we're not near out of this because you haven't supposedly bailed the banks out of it. And so we're going to, if we hit another downturn, we're going to have these trillions of dollars that you voted in for us on our neck besides that. And it's going to be on us instead of the people that it really deserves to be on.
Well, that's the real...
Good afternoon. My name is Sue Delaney, Claremore, Oklahoma. I know I probably know a lot of you all. I've been self-employed actually since 1974 in Stillwater and moved here in 1985 and started an auction company. So you'd think I would have a pretty easy time talking to all you all, but you know, I'm about as scared as I've ever been. Did the auction for Coburn Friday night. It was electric. It was absolutely electric. I have so many questions, it's just nearly impossible. One of them is, but I'll answer it for you. The question is, what would be changed? Somebody sent me this fabulous email that kind of shortcut all the incredible things that are in this 1,100-page bill. So the question is, What would change your mind to vote yes on the bill? Well, you'll find a reason to vote yes, so don't bother to answer. You've got to vote no. Now, let me make another statistic. If it would be allowed, I've been self-employed, single female, 1974. I'm now 60, almost 61 years old. How many people in this room are self-employed in any fashion? Please raise your hands. I've got 50%, what do you all say? A little more than 50%? Do you realize that an 8% not sales tax, but tax to pay for health care? I have a friend of mine owns a company up the street. It's a metal fabrication shop. Employs about 15 people. They make about $15 an hour. Now, I only employ 2, so I want to use myself as an example. A better example for a small business would be an industry, a small industry that employed 15 people but averaged $15 an hour. I believe from memory, I didn't write this down, I've run it out several times, so his quarterly payroll would run something over $100,000, $105,000. 8% of that is $8,600. That, sir, is off his top line, or his profit. That is absolutely sucking the life out of anybody in any small business. And you can go up and down Claremore, Chelsea, small businesses. That's just a fact. I just wanted to say that. You know, because people say, oh, it's going to hurt small business. That's how it's going to hurt it. And it'll land on your 941 quarterly form. That's right where it will land. It'll put people right out of business. It'll cause them to become perhaps a little bit under the table. It'll cause them to lay off people. We don't need one more bill like this. We've got to straighten up and let TARP do its thing. Let all the other bills go ahead and do their thing. We don't need this year. We may not need it next year.
Thank you. And